Welcome to another installment of Trace Your Future with Refiloe. Now, today we are talking to Leboka, and this woman, like overachiever much. You are an expert mathematician. You are the founder of a dancing company, and you do a whole lot of expert choreography in your dancing, and doing it one day at a time with such grace. How did it come about that you decided that 9 to 5 is not enough, and doing a career that is very niche and very specialized and very revered, to somebody who's like, okay, maybe let's put a little bit of rhythm into everything and tell us your story.
Okay. Well, thank you, Refiloe, for having me. Wow. So my story goes back when I was in primary school, and then high school. So I have been a child who has found herself being involved in multiple activities outside of academics. So in primary school, I was in the play, I was doing sports, I was running netball, etc. So you name it, pardon me. So I think I grew up being just involved in a lot of activities around me, and I think because I just enjoy a good challenge above everything. I just really enjoy a good challenge, and I think I like to give myself a chance and say, hey, let's see, why not? So growing up like that, and then I discovered dance in probably grade 6, 7, and then I looked for a dance school, but specifically hip hop. Then I think I was more I was more influenced by your step ups and Chris Brown and so
Me too, but
I wanted to be like them, right?
Yeah.
And then so I searched for a dance school. I couldn't find one. And then we grew up Mabopane. There was a sports center. So the one time I went there to look for specifically a hip hop dance class. I get there, nobody is there. But then there was a group of people who had dresses on, and then who were dancing to music I've never heard before. So and then I go there, I see the girls are in heels, they have partners, and they're just moving and swaying. And I'm thinking to myself, what is this? So I sit a bit, and then the instructor saw me, and then he invited me over, and then I joined them for the day, and I was like, okay, I'll see if I come back. The following day, went back, and since then I fell in love with Latin American dance, and so that's how I got trained.
At what age was this?
Sure, I was 14, so quite young, 14. And then so little did I know that we would compete. So we had competitions monthly, so we would compete locally, provincially, nationally, once a year. And so this grew to be something I loved even more and more. And I think that then a part of me is quite competitive. So I think that side of me was like, look, this thing must work and we must win. So my partner and I worked very hard, and we did well. And I think then in university, I had to choose at some point because school was a bit hectic. So how I got to study math, oh wow. So in university, I think, okay, no, high school, right? So high school, I think for me, I truly believe that whatever I do, I must give it my best. I think that's something I truly live by, because I believe that if God has placed that particular thing in my life, it means that I am responsible for it. I am accountable for it, right? But then it means that my part in that is to give it my all, right? And I show that I'm faithful in that particular thing, right? So in school, I worked hard. Got good grades across. And then when in grade 11, I was a bit confused now. So to go the science route, mathematics route, or business, because I studied a combination of commerce and sciences. Yes, not knowing where to go. So I'm like, okay, let me taste a bit of everything.
Yeah, because you're young. Sometimes you never know.
Yes. So, and then came grade 11. I didn't know as well. So I spoke to my then maths teacher, because we had a close relationship, and she spoke about a field, actuarial sciences. And then I was like, okay, I will research it. I didn't particularly like it completely, but I saw mathematical statistics, which was a bit close but more broad. And I thought, okay, let me try it. Right? I think, yeah, let's see. And then varsity came, applied, got in. Sure, it was something else.
Yeah, because maths teacher is not there, guiding and holding your hand, and there are all these new concepts, because to go from maths to maths stats is wild.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I think that my idea of mathematics by then was high school maths. And then you get to varsity and you realize that mathematics is just
so broad,
and it's this big abstract world, and there are theories and proofs and this. So everything that for example your Einstein would write down on those big boards, we would study, basically. At some point we had to prove that the number 1 is in fact 1. How do you prove that the number 1 is in fact 1? So that's just how that's mathematics, right? You're thinking, no, but no, we had to prove logical statements, prove that if you say that the sky is blue, how can you actually prove that it is blue? And so that was quite a journey, to say the least, because I think for me, I did not anticipate that mathematics would be very theoretic.
Yeah, you were interested in numerology.
Yes, it is the practical side of it. But I still, the part of me that does not like to give up, just held on, right? And I think I was like, look, let me just continue, work hard. From a time perspective, it did take a lot of time, so I had to just pause things for a bit. But then on campus, I got involved in campus production, because when you have a craving and a love for something, you can't run away from it, right? Somehow it will keep on coming back. And so because I was in res as well, we had a whole culture going on there, and so I then applied to be one of the house committee members, but specifically the culture one. So we would have productions and dances and this and that. So I could still be in a space where I could learn and teach dance, and still pursue my passion and love. And I think at some point it became a coping mechanism as well, where school was tough, and it's tutorials, it's projects, it's this, it's that. My breakaway was, okay, let me find a safe space. Yes. And I would go there and just move and just dance, have fun, and come back ready to face school. And so I see how now in the working space, that narrative is still there a bit, but at least now with work, it's not as theoretical as school was. So now work is more practical. There's a room for creativity as well. So I get to enjoy that and still enjoy dance. So dance is no longer just an escape from the big math and sex world, but it's another world that I enjoy as well. Yeah, yeah. So I think, sure, man. It's been a long journey, but so fulfilling. And I think that even in moments where I told myself that I wanna take a break from dance, or I couldn't be because of time, but something in me which is
Return to it.
return. And even if it was, for example, with church now. So by the time I started working, I went through it again where, okay, I'm new to work. Let me pause everything and focus on work, and not dance. But then I got involved in church, and then through serving in church, I became the dance leader. So again, dance keeps on coming back and back and back in different ways, I guess. But overall, my heart.
Is it in the dance now?
Yes, I definitely think. I think it's a space where it comes naturally. You know, I don't find myself thinking too hard about it. Even from choreographing, I hear the music, I feel it, I move, and then hey, we have a piece. And I think that because I enjoy teaching and imparting knowledge as well. So being able to teach what I love is just a blessing, honestly. Yeah.
I'm reflecting. There are so many fascinating things about your story as you've told it. One thing that stands out is how you see your faith. Because when you are a woman that truly applies themselves. I mean, all the sports. I
was like, until I find that one thing.
Like, when we play, you are competing, you know, and I love that you feel like it's honoring, you know, and being of service to fully apply yourself in the thing. It's a new way that I'm learning, that I just heard from you, of looking at having excellence as a value, you know. I don't know many people like that, so that is why I'm fascinated by it. And more than that, those are two extreme worlds, right? Because in another world, you almost need like intense focus. Well, I guess in dance too, but there's a flow, you know, that happens on the other side where one is thinking about on the logical side of your work, you are having to solve difficult concepts. Those two things are very extreme, you know. Do you ever find yourself like, I know you are saying dance now is like a coping mechanism and now has come to find you, and as you are growing older, then, you know, your intensity is leaning more towards it, I guess, you know, from hearing you, than the other side. But you see that these two things have a place in your life, and you know, taking it all the way back to the thing about valuing doing it fully and completely. Are you somebody that's still pursuing, you know, another qualification, or you know, to grow your knowledge in terms of mathematics? Because I know once you start, it's hard to stop, right? Like in the case that, you know, dance is doing to you and pulling you back and pulling you back. Do you intend to, you know, further your studies also with mathematics?
So interesting enough, that was a chat I was having with myself. I just came from a vacation out with my cousin. We did the garden route. It was so therapeutic, beautiful, and a good time to reflect. So I think, so after varsity, I felt like, let me work and still, because mathematical statistics was broad and you can apply it in different fields. So you can apply it in medicine, as an example, and do biostatistics. Apply it in economics and do econometrics, as an example. So even in government statistics, as an example. So I wanted to just give myself a bit of time learning and seeing where my interests lie, more before I commit to study further, because I know that once I commit, I want to study. Yes. So, and then I found myself now in a banking space, financial space, and I think that has been quite a learning. And I think what now the job I do now is not fully mathematical and fully statistics, but you apply the principles of mathematics and through data solutioning. So now I'm a data scientist and manager in that, right? So I've been blessed to.
There's no half measures within the whole is there. When you get, you must just shatter that roof. I love you.
Thank you, Peter. I think so I find it a blessing more than anything, because wow, I really do, and sometimes I look back and I ask myself, but how, but I know that my faith absolutely drives me, absolutely. I think maybe also I just wanna feel and know that I'm living a purposeful life and impactful life, where I can know that I have done my best to make a difference where I was, and I think that comes to my heart whether I'm at work or at a dance studio, right, or at the gym, because but we'll talk about that also.
Yeah, because your studio, exactly that.
Yes.
It's dance fitness.
Yes.
So you've connected now, the fitness and the dance. And why that niche? Because, like you said, you got exposed to Latin American looking for hip hop. And then now the dance is taking you to opening the studio and you're like, I'm going to branch off into fitness.
Yes. So, because prior I was doing Latin, but then at school I was still doing athletics and volleyball. So purely sports. Like so dance at home, and then school it will be sports. And then so even in varsity I still train. So I generally enjoy fitness. So your boot camps, as an example, functional training, cardio classes, lifting. I mean, I used to do weekend hikes where we take our bags with food and clothes and water and tents, and we hike up mountains and camp there. So that requires a certain level of fitness and training. So I think when it comes to sort of like fitness, definitely I enjoyed that. But at the same time, I love dance. So I thought, look, how can I bring the two worlds together? Because I think that I found that in training, because I did my group fitness qualification. So now I'm a qualified group fitness instructor. So
I was just like, a gift and keeps on giving today.
I think, and believe me, I remembered that today, and I was like, oh my goodness, this was something I went through just last year, And school there was hectic. So I did school, but not mathematics. So I just did the fitness part. And then learning that sometimes people, they want to train. People have got body goals and stuff, but then what sometimes becomes a barrier could be the enjoyment of it. So I would hear maybe my friends say, look, I want to lose weight. I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the gym.
I'm one of those people. It's a grudge activity, right?
Yes.
So the enjoyment factor is really not there.
Yes. And I think that dance has that enjoyment factor. I think generally as a people we are constantly dancing, right? at a party, you are moving at a and what we sometimes don't realize is that that movement gets your heart rate up, right? It can be exercise. Yeah. So I thought, let's just bring the two together and have fun, but still trying to meet our body goals, etc. And dance as well. I think because of what it has done for me, I think when I do look back, dance wasn't just like an escape from school being hard, etc. But I think also it was a safe space for me where I could express myself, right? Because I stutter, as you can hear, I'm sure, and I mean I used to struggle a lot with stuttering. I think if it was me years back, I would not have dreamed of being here speaking honestly, and so dance then became a place where I could express myself without feeling that I will be judged for how I speak. I will be shamed, or I will be and it was that safe space where I could build my self-esteem, build my self-confidence, right? And I think then when after like coming to the big wild world, I would feel like I'm it now, and so I've seen also with the team I lead, particularly at church, how the dancers have grown so much because dance brings out that joy, that confidence that a person who is shy and timid, once they get on stage, they light up. And then the more you do that, the more your mind says, okay, I can. This is a normal side of me. And then you start to normalize it, and then it becomes a part of you, right? So I think dance for me has done a lot. So I think now I can't remember your question.
No, for me, I could just keep listening because yes, dance, how we know it. I mean, South Africa is, the world capital of dance. If anything, by the last 2-3 years is to go by. But here's where you found a space where it answers a personal need, of that soothing side of how life can be stressful, or a place where you go to find yourself just flowing and just going and not limited by anything. And you've now taken it a notch above, and you've opened this academy where now you're extending yourself to helping others reach their body goals when it comes to dance. So I'm looking at everything, and what you said about yourself in the beginning about serving is like, it's sort of the energy that I'm getting. But more than that, you found a place for you that's so comfortable, because the passion when you speak is undeniable about what you're doing. And the reason why I think we end up having this conversation is because a lot of young people have a struggle. It may not be stuttering for them, it may be something else. And they look at the person like, no, there's no way. For real? She looks particularly young. I mean, I'm looking at you now, and it still looks like you've got your whole world ahead of you, but you've been able to live your life in such a way that is, not very faithy, but it's such a huge testament to say, yes, I mean, in different areas, all of us have that struggle, right? But you are empowering yourself and finding a way that lets you be in this world that, looks different maybe for you or the next person. And that is why this show is there. Trace Academia is a stakeholder in the conversation around youth empowerment. and you having have already done it puts you in the best place to talk to our tracers about how your circumstances do not need to define you. Like in the least, what would you say to somebody looking and listening and saying, "Oh, I hear it, and you know it all sounds so good and well, but is it really possible for me?"
Sure. Yes. Definitely. I think that sometimes it's hard to get an aerial view when you are in a situation. So I definitely won't say that. Look, just pray and then by tomorrow a miracle will happen, because and particularly with my journey of stuttering, I when it was very bad. Excuse me. When it was very bad in high school, where I was just so scared to speak that even answering a question in class. I mean, I remember one time our science teacher asked us a question and I knew the answer and no one in class knew it, but I was just so scared to answer that the teacher just punished the whole class and we didn't have a second grade, etc. But I knew the answer. So as somebody that was in it at the time, it does become hard to think above it, right? And gain a real view perspective, right? But I think if I were to speak to my young self now, that person, that Teresa, who says that right now I don't see it being possible, I would absolutely tell them that life is seasonal, for sure. Life is seasonal, and life won't keep you at the same place, same space for forever, right? And I think that also us realizing the power that we have by just changing our mind and changing our perspective, right? Because at the end, what you see is what you will believe, right? And then what you see doesn't have to be what you physically see, but it can be having a vision, a dream, because that is what you see. You can literally manifest that as you just decide for yourself once and for all that, look, this is where I want to be. I think there's a scripture that says that we need to make up our minds. Like, don't be double minded, right? Because if you are neither here or there, God cannot bless that. You need to make up your mind, because we have self-will, which means that we need to say, Lord, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have decided that, look, right now, yes, I am stuttering, but I enjoy talking, I enjoy engaging and teaching. So please help me get there. And you'll see opportunities will present themselves that lead you and guide you there. But I think sometimes we think that the learning and the journey will be smooth sailing. It is often uncomfortable. I think it's often uncomfortable. And for me, it has been a long journey, and sometimes it can be a long journey, but the journey being long and your breakthrough being delayed does not mean that it is denied. Absolutely not. I think and I think that because sometimes we are in that world and society that just wants things to like happen, like this, but it's like the journey has learnings that are far more important than the destination. I think I've learned that for myself now, that the journey, you will get pruned and get shaped, and your the character will be built throughout the journey leading to that destination. And when you arrive there will be another journey, right? Because life is never about just arriving at a destination and then you're like, oh, fine, I've arrived. I think once you arrive is when you are ready to meet your creator, honestly. Right? So I think it's finding value in the journey that is leading you there, having a vision and seeing that, even if it means taking time out and envision yourself at that, platform that offers that whatever dream you have, see it and believe it before it happens, because it will happen. And I think that I think that we do have more power than we realize sometimes, and I think situations can absolutely cloud us, but we must remember that even if you are in that circumstance, but it does not define you. First of all, it is external from you. Yes, it does impact you, but it does not define you. And so your vision, your gaze must be from a point of
within.
Yes.
I love that. I love that a lot, because often we want to attach our worth to what we've done and what we've achieved, and we forget completely our worth as we are. So that part, I think, is important, as well as the seasonality of life. Circumstances do not become hopeless forever. And I guess my next question is particularly about your teaching, because we are sitting here, but due to time, all of those things, we're going to conclude this conversation. There are others that I know will want to continue this discussion with you in particular, because there's a lot of ills affecting youth, and some are maybe internal, but some circumstantial, and addiction, and all of these things that hold them back. And you, I think, well, from my eye anyway, you are perfectly placed to speak about a lot of things one can plug into that exist around them, to get themselves to a place where they are leading their own lives and not really going with the flow for the sake of hoping for the best. I want to ask you about the teaching you do at the studio. Is it only where you are physically, or do you offer an online type of solution for the fitness dancing?
Okay. That has something else, but I'll yes, I'll answer. So I think for now it's classes where I am physically there with a dance fitness classes, and the dream and hope and what I'm working towards is to grow the classes and have multiple people teaching at different locations. I think if you know about Zumba, yes. So Zumba was started by a guy that enjoyed dance, and he went to a pub something, and they taught them dance, Latin fun, and the next thing it became this big movement. Right, that not just one person can teach it, but you can learn that style of dance and teach it across. So I think the mindset here is that I would love it to expand beyond just me, and the dance fitness not be limited to me being there. The online classes I've done have been for wedding choreography so far, which is wedding choreography, but not for particularly dance fitness at this moment. It has been in person.
I like that, because you loved dance from an early age, and it's been part of your life forever. But you don't actually have like a qualification other than training now at the studio, but that you are a trained dancer, or it's through time and experience that you are this person. And here at home, using tools such as Trace Academia to reach far and wide, and this conversation right now aims to not only get people gaining new skills, but thinking about where they belong in the world. And your story is particularly interesting to me because I know there are a few people like, you know, in the maths. It's like a specialized field. But a lot of people want to be in dance. And you're finding that, I mean, Amapiano has changed the game for everyone. And people are now earning from, you know, choreography that wouldn't necessarily have. And I know there's an account that I also follow of a few Ghanaians who just changed their lives, their immediate lives, and their community as a whole, because now it's a tourist destination because people we just want to see this group of dancers. So what is your message to our youth in terms of really taking on that opportunity and using free and unlimited learning to catapult themselves to their next phase in their life? As we conclude.
As we conclude, okay. So I think for me, it's that the academic side. Let me start with that side, right? So I absolutely believe in education and studying, 100%. I think I know for a fact that I wouldn't be here had I chosen differently, right? And I think that if really you are gifted academically, absolutely pursue that as well, right? If you have an interest in both, definitely pursue both. But I think that our 9 to 5 jobs can actually push your passion and like help you, because I don't think that I will be able to do what I can now without my 9 to 5, right? So I absolutely believe that studying does open doors, and I think that sometimes the door that we think is just a job, but that job gets you financially free, right? And with that financial freedom, you can do more things, or you can do the things you love. So if it's traveling, it's traveling. If it's you building a home for kids, it's that, right? But your job is allowing you to do that. So for me, I think that so young people should open up their minds beyond just doing one particular thing, right? Because in high school, I could have said, look, I am passionate about dance and school, I can say, right? But I could understand for myself then our financial circumstances at home, and that I need to secure a job where once I'm settled, I can be able to fund my passion project at the time. So I think with school, absolutely studying. I would every young person in high school, your first job is to be a learner and study. Do that fully, 100%. Give it your all. Don't hold back. And because you have a passion does not mean that you neglect one, right? Like enjoying one thing more than the other does not make that thing less important. So I don't wake up and not show up at work. No, because I was dancing. No, I must still show up and show up fully. So I think it's realizing that generally as people we are multifaceted, right? If you are a mother and you are a working woman, you don't show up half-heartedly because of your heart is still there and there. So firstly, yes, for young people to not think that a passion must now mean that you neglect everything. No, still study, right? Pursue some study, pursue a qualification, right? Because school, especially higher learning, it teaches you the skill of of thinking in a particular way. So even when you do apply yourself in your passion, you can think about it strategically. You can even have a bigger vision, right? Because now you can use the skills you have learned from school and apply them here. So I think that yes, there's a lot to gain from studying. And then secondly, if I know that sometimes, not even sometimes, like I know that a lot of young people would say that financial exclusion, right? But there are the companies that are willing to fund. I mean, I was funded by a CSA when I was studying. I worked hard. I think also realizing our circumstances. So by then I knew that my mom being a single parent, she won't be able to afford varsity. So I had to make a plan, right? So I was like, fine, I will just work hard and study and go beyond and make sure I try to secure funding bursary, which then, thank God, it happened. And so that too allowed me to study. So I think realizing that, look, opportunities won't just come in one way. That's why whatever is given to you, give it your best, because you don't know if your next opportunity will come from that particular thing, no matter how small it may look, right? It could be someone asking you to cut grass, let's say, but you do it to the best of your ability, because that could be the director of some company who's now recognizing your work ethic, and then who will then hire you for something else, right? So I think apply it yourself, like young people. Laziness, hyper daily, like this thing of like,
doesn't pay.
I'm gonna just chill and no, hyper daily. And I think the idea that we're gonna just get things on a silver platter. No,
Entitlement.
Entitlement mentality does not work. It hyper daily, because the reality is that nobody owes you anything, right? Nobody, anyway, right? So as soon as you come to terms with the fact that I came here and I'm going to leave this and everything I do here, I am responsible for it.
For the direction of my life. Exactly that, where it's a hope, right? That they realize how much power they've got in leading their lives and not necessarily their circumstances around. I mean, there's always going to be a stat about unemployment. There's always going to be a part of the country that's not as established as another. There's always going to be the difficulty to access to other things. I mean, you hope that with time it gets better, but in one form or another, there are obstacles to go through, and we've got to really instill that element of resilience in our youth. And I've enjoyed chatting to you because you've demonstrated all that against all odds, you've loved yourself all the way to making sure that you achieve your dreams, not only here, but you far surpass the expectation and the standards set in those dreams or areas, and I'm proud of you. From one entrepreneur to another, and from one person who really values, excellence and going after it, and a mindset of I can. I think you've done very well for yourself. So congratulations and thank you for your time. I'm gonna take your advice and take this opportunity to ask you for dancing lessons, because whoa, a sister needs help, but we can do that after our chat. Download Trace Academia today and find yourself learning for free. It's fun, and the courses offer certificates which you can upload onto LinkedIn or put as part of your professional profile, so that it positions you better to finding a job or getting into a project that favors where you want to end up. And we've got a brand new app as well called Trace Plus. Don't forget to download that on any app store available. So we have time for. Thank you.
Thank you.